the community has faced a prolonged drought for quite a long period of time, which they hadn't faced before. And secondly, there is a lot of natural resource degradation. Trees have been cut in the community, leading to scarcity of fuel. And now what the community is doing is actually cutting fruit trees, which would have been beneficial for the nutrition of the children. The main activity is disseminating information that is related to options of alternatives or what activities these communities can do to see that they are bridging that gap. One of the things we are doing using the Resource Center, the Community Knowledge Center, is to provide information to different groups. We have groups, we have the children in primary schools, we also have communities that are organized in schools, but also the entire community. So what we are doing is that we are providing them information which is categorized to the different categories. Through dramas, the children in school are doing drama, which drama carries messages on what challenges they are facing in climate change, but also what options can they do. Songs are also doing that. Poems, they are also addressing the same thing. And we think when we use the school children, they are able to disseminate information to their fellow students first of all, but also to the wider community. Secondly, we have organized communities into groups. They have a drama group in Lukwanga, and that drama group is doing a lot of dissemination of information, still related to climate change and what options can communities do. But the drama group also mobilizes the youth to come together so that they can discuss things that are governmental other than going into activities that have an impact on natural resources, hence increasing the impact of climate change. The factors that have contributed to the success of activities are two. One, the community was ready to receive this information because they had done things that probably required that if they added a little information onto what they are doing, they will be better. For example, this community has been able to do research on their own, community-based research. But the challenge was that they didn't have more information on how to improve on what they are doing. So through the community center, when we provide the information that they need, it makes the activities better. For example, the farmer that is doing growing yams, they received the technology on how to grow yams from one of the magazines, the Baobab, and they implemented it so that they are able to grow the yams in a better way to get more yield as opposed to the traditional way. That's one way we have shared information. The other is to link these communities with research stations. But also with schools, we have worked with the Tree Talk and Straight Talk. These are some of the magazines that are produced on a quarterly basis. They give information to children in schools on how to manage nurseries, how to increase woodlots, how to have fruit trees in their compound, how to have talking compounds. The other thing that we do is to also have exchanges between people that we think have done better in climate change, so that these communities go and exchange with the other communities and see how to improve on their community. The schools have gone for an exchange on how to have talking compounds. We think once we have these messages in their compound, the children, as they play, as they relax, they're able to read these messages, and once they read the messages, they will be able to implement these activities wherever they go. The dynamics within the community are giving us a challenge. Some of the people think that climate change is a myth. They haven't yet known that it's actually with us. And once the community, the contact community discusses with them, they tend to tell them, these are people looking for money. But what we do is that we tend to show them videos of similar communities so that they can learn and understand, but also reflect on say, decades before, what had happened before and what is happening now. Like, for example, reduction in level of water in their wells. They all recognize that the fact that the level of water has reduced in their wells, which is an impact of reduced rain, causing a change in the water sources. The other challenge we are facing is the leadership of the district. Without the blessing of the political and technical leadership of the district, sometimes it becomes difficult for us to implement. For example, working with the extension workers at the district to see how they also help us in disseminating this information. They always want in return some kind of payment of the service they are providing. Yet we are all development workers and we think we are working for the same cause. The other challenge we have faced, especially with the Adapt Africa project, that it has a short-term kind of cycle, and the question we are asking is, at the end of the project, what is next? Won't we leave a gap which has to be filled? If we use the different information and multimedia technologies to disseminate information, I think this would go ahead. First of all, if we used audio messages, video, simple illustrations on posters, and write everywhere that you feel that people can read and access, public places, provide the information so that wherever we go, we know that climate change is with us, and we need to do the little that we can do so that we can attack our enemy. But secondly, we could use the media. In Uganda, for example, we have very many local stations, radio stations and TVs, but probably we haven't yet tapped into this potential. We would have messages on radio, messages on video, and such kind of thing. So I think if we use that, a combined effort between the private sector and government, and design messages to go to these people, I think we would reach a step ahead. Secondly, many of us development workers have not tapped into the potential of schools, especially primary schools. These children are good at understanding things. And we think if we give them messages at that level, by the time they come to university and they are out to work, we think these messages will be able to trickle down. And that's why we are using messages in Lukwanga, using children to disseminate this information through drama and any available means.